Have you ever pondered the intriguing question, what happens when an entire nation's balance sheet goes underwater? Imagine the world's two largest economies, the United States and China, caught in the throes of such a predicament. Welcome to the concept of a balance sheet recession. Picture a scenario where falling real estate prices plunge balance sheets into the red. Entities, individuals, and businesses alike turn their focus to paying down debt rather than borrowing and spending, even when interest rates hit rock bottom. This, my friends, is the eerie landscape of a balance sheet recession, a scenario not too far from reality for China. In the 90s, Japan found itself face to face with a similar situation. Monetary policies, such as lowering interest rates, proved ineffective as the private sector was more intent on deleveraging. What was required was fiscal policy, government spending to counteract the lack of private sector expenditure. Output. China's predicament is a complex one. Already the world's largest trade surplus country, it finds itself in a political bind, unable to export its way out of recession due to potential objections from other nations. The reluctance of the Chinese government to implement large fiscal stimulus, possibly due to already high debt levels, further adds to the economic weakness. Economist Richard Koo points out that chronic trade deficits, like those run by the US for decades, can be detrimental to domestic industries and workers. He suggests addressing this through currency adjustment, such as weakening the dollar, rather than imposing tariffs. Koo also believes the rise of economic populism in the US, as seen in trade policies during the Trump era, is partly a reaction to the negative effects of long-running trade deficits on certain sectors of the economy. For the US, if private sector borrowing is indeed picking up, Koo suggests it might be time to reduce government deficits. However, he cautions that the data on this isn't yet clear. Output. In essence, understanding balance sheet dynamics and the limitations of monetary policy in certain economic scenarios, particularly following the burst of asset bubbles, is crucial. This is the key lesson from Koo's insights. To summarize, a balance sheet recession is a unique economic scenario characterized by falling real estate prices leading to underwater balance sheets and a focus on paying down debt rather than borrowing and spending. China is likely entering such a recession, and combating it requires more than just monetary policy. The situation is further complicated by China's status as the world's largest trade surplus country and the reluctance of its government to implement large fiscal stimulus. Meanwhile, the US needs to address its chronic trade deficits and understand the impact of these deficits on its economy. Lastly, understanding balance sheet dynamics and the limitations of monetary policy is crucial in these economic situations. So, the next time you look at a balance sheet, remember it's not just numbers. It's a story of economies, of nations, and of the world. And as with any story, understanding it is key to navigating its twists and turns.